Hello, and a good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you all, the good and wonderful people of the Tube. Hope today, hope you're feeling grand and all is well in the world. Today, people of the Tube, I am going to be Peter Green modding my East Coast Goldtop. This is something I've wanted to do to this guitar for a long time. And in all fairness, it's a desire I have for any dual humbucker guitar I have, because I really like to have that out of phase middle position. So I'm going to do that today to the Goldtop, because this is one of my favourite guitars in the world ever, and I want to have that option of in the middle, because I actually don't like the middle position. I don't actually like the sound of the middle position on humbuckers. It doesn't really do anything for me at all. So to have it out of phase in the Peter Green mod, that'd be a cool thing. So I'm going to do it the way that a lot of people do it. I'm just going to reverse the magnet inside the humbucker, and I'm going to film it as best I can so you can see how I do it. So if you want to do it, just follow my steps, so to say. I've done it a few times to a couple of different guitars. I did it to my Epiphone Les Paul originally, and then I reversed that. And I've done it to a couple of other guitars, funny enough, that weren't my guitars. I've done it for other people after that, so to say. But so anyway, without further doodles, let's get on with it. So first things first, the magnet we need to flip is the neck pickup magnet. The bridge pickup stays the same, so we don't need to touch that at all. It's all in the neck pickup. So first things first, I need to get strings off, and then we can go from there. So let's get the strings off. Okay, so strings are off. We now have access to the neck pickup. I'm going to move the camera in so you can see better from this point on. And yeah, let's get this done. So I'm looking forward to having this sounds as well, because this is one of my favourite sounding Les Pauls I've ever had. It just has that thing that I want in a Telecaster, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how this sounds. So let me move the camera in and give you a better shot of what's going on here. And yeah, let's get on. Okay, so I have taken the screws out of the neck pickup, so it comes out nice and easy. We need to take the screws out of the bobbin as well to get the pickup ring off, so we'll quickly do that. Like I say, this is something I've wanted to do to this guitar and, well, basically all my Les Pauls all the time. I have a huge love for that Peter Green out of phase tone on the Les Paul, and I really like it as an option. So okay, so neck pickup is out. Need to remove the cover. Now mine isn't soldered on because it just clicked back on really sturdily. I didn't actually bother doing it, but that's because I like to mess around with covers on, covers off kind of thing. Okay, so we do. Okay, I don't know. You probably won't be able to see this people tube, but here in the bottom there is the magnet. Let me see if I can get the camera in on this. Hang on a minute. I need the screen around. Okay, so there. That's the magnet. We need to flip it. That's the Peter Green mod, basically. That's what will do this job. So we need to get that magnet out, and I'll show you how we're doing to do that. Okay, so let me get the camera back in the right place. Oh, God. To have a film crew, hey? To have a film crew. Okay, so on the bottom of a humbucker, you'll have usually 4 screws. We need to take these out to release the bobbins on top so we can actually get to the magnet and flip it. And invariably, like these, they're covered in wax, so you got to kind of like remove the wax first and then get the screw out. It's all good fun. Wax dipping pickups. Again, I have de-waxed these pickups, but this is kind of like residue just on the base plate. Okay, so that's one screw out. Number 2 coming out now. This one's always difficult because the magnets want to, the pole piece, the screws want to grab the screwdriver and pull it away. So you got to kind of like wrestle it a little bit, but easy do. Okay, moving along. Yeah, screwdriver's actually covered in wax now. Okay, moving along. Last one coming out now. Okay. So now, the base plate of the humbucker will just come away, and we can kind of get access to our magnet. Be very careful though, PeopleTube, because you have very, very tiny wires attached down here to the base plate. I don't know if they're grounding it. I don't actually know. I mean, I'm not I don't know anything about electronics, so I don't know how these things work. But you just got to be really careful of those really fine wires that are attached to the base plate. You don't want to break them. That will not go well. So now we need to get the magnet out. This is where it gets fun. Okay, it's coming. I'm a bit edgy about it. Oh, there we go, got it. Okay, so magnet's coming out. Still got a bit of wax on it. It's going to show. I'll tell you what, I go to crazy lengths to clean these things, and yet there's still tons of wax on them. So this magnet was in this way. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it so it's the other way, and in theory this should give us the Peter Green tone. Okay, put it back together. Oh, and the pickup doesn't have to be in upside down like Peter's. It doesn't have to be that way. So I'm going to test it though first, because I don't want to put all the guitar completely back together to find out I've done it wrong and then take the whole guitar back, take it apart again to to make sure to do it again. Oh, I can't talk and concentrate today, PeopleTube. I'm not doing very well with that. Fluff everywhere. Okay, so I'm just going to put 2 screws in for now. I'm going to put one in the front coil, one in the back, just to hold them in place. I'm going to plug it in and quickly make sure it makes a noise. And you should be able to tell through not having any strings on, it should sound thin. It should sound right. So I'm just going to do that now. Let's just get my amp on and everything. But yeah, that's it. That is literally the mod. That is all you have to do. It's a bit nerve-wracking, to say the least. There's a huge block of wax there. Well, it's not that big, actually. It is a bit nerve-wracking, especially with those tiny little grounding wires that go to the base plate of the humbucker. Kind of freaks me out a bit. But once you've done it a few times and you know what to be aware of, and you just take your time with it, again, like anything, taking your time is everything. You'll be fine with it. Just there's no rush. You never want to ever rush something like this. So I'm just going to turn on my amp and all my stuff, and let's have a listen. I'm going to be you. So I had to put the strings. Well, one string I had to put the bridge back in, the tailpiece back in with strings on, because I couldn't actually tell. Normally, you can do that whole thing where you plug the guitar back in, tap the pickups through an amp, and you can actually hear the kind of lower output honky nature that you have in the middle, the out of phase thing. But I couldn't actually tell, so I wanted to play it safe, put the strings back on quickly. I haven't tuned any of them up. The only one I've tuned up is a G string. So, and it has worked. I have got the Peter Green out of phase tone. So, obviously the pickup isn't in its surround, so I'm going to have to hold it. But, so this is the bridge pickup. Okay, here's the neck. I have to hold the neck because it's not near the pickup, which means it'll sound naff. And then here's the out of phase. And I will show you that better once I've got the guitar back reassembled. But it has worked, so that's really cool. So I'm really happy about that. So now I've got to get the guitar strings off again. Get the pickup reassembled. Well, completely reassembled. I need to put the other 2 base plate screws in. Get the cover back on. And get the pickup back to its normal height. And then, yeah, the next thing you'll see, PeopleTube, is I'll make some noise for you with this thing. Let you hear it. So, I'll see you in a sec for sound test number 1. Okay, with you. So here we go. So sound test number 1 with the Peter Green mod. So we're just going straight into the Fender Deluxe at this point in time. It's just set clean as well. There's no like distortion or anything. There is reverb. So this is the bridge humbucker. Neck. It's the strings still aren't settled either, so it's going to be out of tune, but that's okay. And then here we go. This is the middle now. You can hear it's got that honk. Forgot what key I was in. And again, the amp's really quiet at this point in time, but you can hear the Peter Green mods there. So I've done it. It's a success, people. I'm really happy about that. I love this sound. I love this guitar so much. It's just fantastic, this thing. The neck, the sound, everything. That has just made this guitar even more happy for me. So, like I say, it's a very, very, very easy mod to do. It just requires a little bit of patience, bit of time. You don't want to be rushing it, because there are those little wires, like I say, that go from the coils of the humbucker to the base plate, and they do break very easily, but they're only soldered on, so they can break if you're kind of like wrenching that thing apart. So be very, very gentle with it. Just take your time, don't rush, and you too can have the Peter Green mod. One thing I will say though, PeterTube, is this Peter Green mod, doing it with the magnet, because I'm going to talk about a couple of things I've read. It does sound close. It's got that really hollow, nasally honk. But I remember reading something years ago with Trev Wilkinson. It was around the time they bought out the Peter Green V100 Lemon Drop by Vintage, the one that I've got. If you've been around this channel long enough, you'll know that guitar. It's one of my favourite guitars as well. And he said the key to that pickup isn't just flipping the magnet. He said also you need a certain kind of wire on the pickup, because he said when he examined Greenie, the wire to the neck pickup is not the original Gibson wire. The bridge pickup one is, but Selmer put another wire on the neck humbucker, and it's actually grey. It's not like the wire, kind of like the braided wire. It's not a braided wire. It's actually just a normal wire. And Trev was convinced that has something to do with changing the out of phase as well. And to be honest with you, this, like I say, this tone, I'm really happy with that. But if I compare that to my vintage Lemon Drop, which I don't have here, unfortunately, but I will get to this video. I'll do it in another video. The V100, I feel, sounds a little bit closer because they did something with the wire. Now what they did with the wire coming from the humbucker, I don't remember. But Trev Wilkinson clearly stated in this interview that I read about that guitar that he didn't just flip the magnet. It was something to do with that wire as well. The way the wire, whatever wire was attached to that neck pickup, affected its tone as well. Which, it would, wouldn't it? I mean, if it's not the original Gibson braided wire, and Selmer put on a cheaper pickup, a wire to it, like a wire to it, and it isn't carrying as much signal or whatever, and it's making that neck pickup a bit weaker, then yeah, it's going to affect the sound. Whereas the braided wire might sound a bit different. So, but I'm really happy with that. I'm happy with the way this thing sounds. And again, I prefer it. I don't actually like the middle position on Les Pauls at all. It's like position 2 and 4 on a Strat. It's just to me. I really, really gets on my nerves. It's one of those sounds where I'm just like, ugh, I just don't like it. But I'm really happy with that. But that's how you do it, PeterTube. It's very simple. And again, I don't really know if there's much weight to what Trevor Wilkinson said about the wire, but that is something that's very interesting. It made me chuckle that the £50,000 Gibson Greenie replica didn't have that grey wire. It has the usual braided wire, and they said they're going for like, you know, complete authenticity in an exact replica. It's like, well, you can't be because you've got a braided wire. Also, on Greenie, there's an extra hole drilled in here. I'm pretty sure it's above the strap button or below the strap button. There's an extra hole drilled in there where Gary, or I don't think it'd been Peter, Gary put another strap button in at some point and then removed it and then put it back into the original hole, or maybe that was the original hole. But they missed that out on the Greenie model, and I don't really know why they missed that out. And there's a couple other things as well. When you look at really good pictures of Greenie and you compare it to the 50 grand, which is just ridiculous, model, it's like they've missed certain bits, and it's a bit like, And again, that out of phase thing, is there any weight to the fact the wire would add a difference to the humbucker? I reckon so. I really do feel that. Because like I say, that really does sound like Peter Green to me. But Peter's Les Paul on the neck humbucker, you mean you'd be forgiven for thinking Peter was using a single coil a lot of the time with his tone. You really would. You'd be forgiven for thinking it was like, you know, even a Strat or a Telecaster, especially a Telecaster. But it isn't. So, and it would make sense that, you know, the wire that Selma put on there wouldn't necessarily be as high quality as the wire Gibson used. It isn't the braided wire. It's just a grey, whatever they could find, maybe wire. I don't know. But that definitely would affect the humbucker, definitely. I mean, I would find it very hard to believe that it wouldn't do something. What do you think, People G? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But I remember reading that and thinking, that's really interesting. And as soon as I got my vintage V100 Lemon Drop, the Peter Green one, and went to that middle pickup, I was like, went to that middle section, I was like, that does sound really close. And it's just got the wispiness. And it's just it's maybe about 10% more than normal. Like, if you just flip the magnet, it sounds great, and it does a great, you know, passable Peter Green tone. But I swear it's the wire that's doing the extra bit. PeopleTube, what do you think? Am I just going mad? Let me know your thoughts. Anyway, simple job. Like I say, take the humbucker out of the pickup ring, 4 screws on the back to release the base plate from the bobbins. Take the magnet out, turn it around, put it back in, put the whole thing back together. Job's a good one. Also, another thing, PeopleTube, I need a screwdriver. Peter would angle his pickups quite a lot. They would be invariably like this. So this is the treble side, this is the bass side. And that does actually affect the sound of the guitar. Because what you get is you get less output on your low strings and more output on the high strings. And I can show you that really quick, actually. So if I just bring down, I'm a bit scared, my neck pickup, and I angle it, and then I do the same with the bridge pickup as well, and I go a bit edgy because I can't remember how much screw I've got on that. There we go. We're all right. We're okay. We're good. So now, both these pickups are at angles. They're not flat anymore like they were. And this should give me a bit more of a sound. Peter Green sound. And you can kind of hear as I go down the strings, there's less output on the low string, the D, G, and D, A, and E string. Especially that low E, there's not a lot. Same with the neck. And that's what Peter did, and I think that also is a contributing factor to the tone that Peter Green had, especially in the middle position. Because as soon as Gary got the Les Paul, Gary put the humbuckers flat. You know, they're just flush with the pickup rings. And Kirk Hammett's exactly the same. The humbuckers are flat. But if you go back and look at Peter Green, his pickups are not flat. The bass side is really sunk down into the pickup ring, and the treble side is kind of jacked up a little bit. So when Peter's doing those kind of like fast runs, like, again, forgive my guitar being out of tune at this point in time, I haven't had time to set the strings yet. But when Peter's doing those runs down from the high strings to the low strings, and he almost disappears, that's one of the things that helps that. So It almost makes the guitar more dynamic because you have more attack on the G, B, and E strings than you do the E, A, and D strings. And also, it also helps change the out of phase. So like I say, this is out of phase with the pickups angled. This is out of phase with the pickups straight. There is this slight difference, I think. I don't know how well you'll be able to hear that, Pikachu, because I'll say we're just on room mic at this point in time. But there is a slight difference in tone to having the pickups flat in the pickup ring, so they're kind of like, you know, flush with the top of the pickup ring, and then having them with the bass end sunk and the treble end boosted up. I'm actually going to put them back. So we'll do a real-time thing here, Pikachu. So again, I'll do that same lick again. The pickups are flush to the pickup rings. I don't know. There does seem to be a slight difference there to me. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But again, you can definitely hear it. And then the same. You can hear the volume difference on the low strings. It's not a kind of, they're not even at all. Like, you know, the E, A, and D are definitely quieter to the G, B, and E. And again, I reckon that is important to kind of like, you know, adding to that Peter sound. I do think there's a lot of factors, Peter being the main one, but there is a lot of factors to this, to getting the Peter Green tone right and also getting the out of phase kind of sound correct. I do think the pickups have to be slanted and angled. Am I going to leave them on this guitar like that? Yes, most probably. I like the way it looks as well. I don't know how you'll be able to see it at all, Pikachu, but they look weird. And again, Peter's looked wonky, especially if you look at Oh Well. That black and white footage of Oh Well, you can really see how angled the pickups are, and it makes sense, you know, because Fender guitars always have their pickups staggered, like in that way. So you know the bass end is sunk down, and the treble side is boosted up. But Gibson never do. Gibson always have them flat. So it kind of makes sense to kind of like, you know, experiment, and also Peter, the way he played, it really lent itself to his dynamic way of playing. Anyway, Pikachu, what do you think to some of the things that I've waffled on about today? And like I say, I hope this has helped anybody who kind of wants to go for that Peter Green mod. I hope it kind of gives you some ideas of how to do it, and hopefully, you know, it's been somewhat informative. This video, as usual, Pikachu, I'm always terrified my videos are the most useless, uninformative nonsense to ever grace this planet. But hopefully there's something in there, and I say hopefully you seeing me do it with my cack-handed approach. And again, I'm useless at this kind of thing. If you want to do it, go and do it. It's really cool. And again, it's a great mod to have. I prefer it to having the standard kind of out of phase, in phase position 2 on the Les Paul. I don't like it very much. Anyway, let me know what you thought, Pikachu. I'm going to play you out now. I'm going to do some kind of Need Your Love So Bad kind of jam. Let you hear it, like, you know, DI'd, not mic'd up, but let you hear it properly. So, anyway, until then, until the next video, Pikachu, thank you very much for watching. Like I say, I hope it's informative. My noses have started to itch horrifically. And, I hope it's been informative, and I'll see you again very soon for another video. If you like the videos I do here, please consider becoming a patron at Patreon. Links to that are down there. I always do this because it makes me uncomfortable saying that. And also go to the description box as well to follow a link to my music as well, my music page, my Bandcamp page. Okay, anyway, I'm going to plug in, get a backing track going, and let's make some music with my now Peter Green modded East Coast Goldtop. One of my most favourite guitars in the world, this one. Okay, so let's make some noise, and I'll see you again. Goodbye now.